Thank you, Wade. The first thing that you guys should know about me is that I'm a very positive person. The second thing you should know is that I didn't actually ask to be here. And I'm not talking about at this TED Talk. I absolutely did want to be here. But I'm talking about it in the bigger sense, is that I didn't ask to be alive. I didn't ask to be brought into this world. I wasn't sitting around at the age of -1 sipping cognac and thinking to myself, hey, I should live. No, it just sort of happened, like an unexpected gift. None of us asked to be brought into this world. We couldn't have. It's really kind of impossible. But yet here we are. And this thing called life is incredibly complex and challenging, and it can be joyous and painful and all the whole spectrum of human emotions. And I wonder sometimes, maybe that's where the struggle of life comes from, is that we didn't actually decide to be alive. We weren't part of that decision process that brought us here together. And I wonder sometimes, how are we supposed to really make an impact on other people's lives, let alone our own, if we haven't yet really committed to this life? And so my answer to that is that we must simply decide to be alive, to be a positive presence, to be a positive person, to make a positive impact. And I didn't come to this conclusion easily either. It took a lot of pain and some loss. But I learned it in my own way. And I think all of us have the capacity to understand this, but not all of us will. It's something you have to discover for yourself. On December 10th, 2010, I found myself at a clinic downtown in Savannah, awaiting some very bad news. I didn't know what the news was at the time, but I knew that it wasn't good. I could tell by the nurse's voice on the phone that morning. I could tell by the color of the sky. I could tell by how I felt in my blood, in my gut, in my brain. I remember waking up that morning and writing in my journal, I've never felt so scared. I think I made a mistake. I sat in that room for what seemed like hours looking at tongue spoons and ceiling tiles, and then the nurse came in and she sighed and said, your test came back positive for HIV. And at that moment, everything sort of twisted up, and then it snapped. And I don't really remember what I did in those hours after hearing that, but I do remember going to the park, to Forsyth Park, and just looking up at the sky. And there's a quote from Miss Dalloway by Virginia Woolf that I think makes a good presence here. Did it matter then? She asked herself, walking toward Bond Street. Did it matter then that life must inevitably cease? That all of this must go on without her? Did she resent it? Or in some way was it not consoling to think that death ended absolutely? I'm sitting at Forsyth Park looking up at the sky, on the cutting edge of my life. The concept of death was consoling. It was an idea, a very real idea of control over a destiny that just hours ago had completely derailed itself. And I realized I had two options, two equivalent options in my mind. I could either continue on and struggle through the pain and getting sick and the loneliness and the unknowns, or I could end it. And there was something peaceful and almost tranquil about that second option, to just let it all go away and to be absent. And then I thought to myself, and I literally chuckled as I said this out loud, I have to stay positive. I have to stay positive. I have to be a positive presence and to make a positive impact, and to be a positive person. And in doing so, I took responsibility for my life. My parents may have brought me into this world, but it was I who decided to stay. In the years since, I've learned an immense amount about HIV and what it means for us in the past, today, and what the future holds in store for those of us with it and those without. And if I knew now what I knew then, it wouldn't have had nearly the impact on me. Life's kind of funny that way. The care and support that I've received from Chatham Health here in Savannah has been amazing and literally life-saving. And without their first help and support in those first days and weeks and months and years and continuously, even today, I'd be so lost. And if you think telling your parents that you're gay is difficult, try telling them that you have HIV. But I'm so blessed to have an amazing family. And we've all really rallied around this. And in many ways, I feel closer to them than I ever thought I could when I was younger. I take 2 pills a day now, one called rilpivirine, which is a non-nucleoside transcriptase inhibitor, and the other one is a yet unnamed drug study pill, which is an integrase inhibitor. And these 2 pills work together to both inhibit replication of the virus inside of the cell and to also inhibit other viruses to getting inside of other healthier cells around it. And the little bit that I've learned about HIV research and technology has absolutely caused me to understand the significance and importance of a culture and economy that can support research and technology at this level. I live because of the world now, and I'm very much tied to its success. And in many ways, I'm healthier than I ever was. Health at a very deep level is about resiliency and understanding, as well as trust. And in all of those ways, I've grown immensely since first being diagnosed. And it is only because of the marvel of modern medicine, decades of research, and a Holocaust that stole from us some of the world's most amazing, beautiful, and creative people. It's only because of the history that we've gone through and the terror that I'm able to stand here today in front of you as a healthy, able, and confident person. I don't cry a lot, but when I do, it's for the magical and beautiful brothers and sisters that we've lost to AIDS in the last decades. I feel a connection to them now that you may not understand. And I also feel a crushing motivation to honor their potential and their power in all of the work that I do. I may not be able to do a lot, but I can be a positive person with a positive presence, making a positive impact on the world. I can do that. And I think we can do that too. In many ways, HIV is one of the reasons I'm still in Savannah, although it's not the reason that it was anymore. I had to be close to Chatham Care to get support and services from them, but I've moved beyond that. Savannah is my home now. And it challenges me and provides opportunities for an amazing array of fascinating types of growth. But it can also be incredibly difficult. And some of the obstacles that we face as a community and as a nation and even as a world are steep. I go home sometimes and honestly, I'm a little bummed out. And it can get me down. But before I go to bed and actually fall asleep, I still chuckle to myself and think, I've got to stay positive. I didn't ask to be brought into this world, and I didn't ask to have HIV, but I did ask to be on stage today, to tell you that we need to stay positive. We need to stay positive. Thank you.